Thank you, Arvind. Uh, a very good afternoon to all of you, my young friends. It is my pleasure to be with you this afternoon I would say, for more than one reason. One thing, of course, I should appreciate all of you for the interest being shown to know about the technology, the technical aspects of cement manufacturing. That is one thing. And secondly, as Arvind said, I have been with students and teaching for 2 decades, and therefore coming back to students is always a pleasure for me. Having said this, Ultratech Cement has been, as you are all aware, we are the largest manufacturers of cement in the country and the third largest in the world. We take pride in saying that Ultratech is recognized by the users as well as the country as the largest cement company. Not only that, and it is recognized for the largest team of technical people. The technical services of Ultratech is one of the largest in the cement industry, having taken several initiatives to connect with the people who use cement. It is not just selling cement that matters. Lot of technical things we have. Just to give you one or two examples, I tell you, we have a app. We have developed an app recently. It is called as Ultratech Prashikshan Pahal. It is particularly for masons. It is in Hindi. It is for masons who can download this app and take a training. Through series of videos, they can take a training on how to use the tools and how to make good construction, how to choose good materials and so on. In fact, for the students of engineering, both the undergraduate or postgraduate students of engineering, to expose them to what is actual construction, apart from whatever they learn in engineering colleges or institutes, we have 50, that is 50, do-it-yourself videos, which cover all aspects of construction, choosing good materials, good methods of construction, do's and don'ts in construction, and so on. Right from foundation to finish, how one can construct his own house. If you are constructing, if you or your parents are constructing the house, what is it that you should expect from masons or engineers or contractors? All that is explained in just 3 to 4 minutes of video, 50 of them. You can leisurely go through that. Apart from this, a lot of technical literature we keep publishing. I would not like to take more time right now between you and the virtual cement plant visit that you have. I must compliment all of you for the interest shown, and I also welcome all my colleagues from our plant, Gujarat Cement Works, which is one of the iconic plants in the country. They are all ready to interact with you. I wish you all the best and a very good evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ramchandra, for your inspiring words. And now we'll start the program. I will request Mr. Nagesh to share the screen and the presentation.
Okay.
Good afternoon once again. As Dr. Ramchandra has already shared about that, we are the leading manufacturer of cement and leader in this cement in India, as well as we are at the third position in the world, barring China. So Ultratech is not only there in cement. We have 50 plus cement plants all across the country, and we are able to supply cement, fresh cement, in speedy format to the customer at every nook and corner of the country. But apart from cement also, we are providing lot of construction material which are required into construction, and because of that we are called as 360 degrees material solution provider, by the construction industry professionals. Apart from cement, we have RMC business, under which we have more than 100 RMC plants, ready mix concrete plants, spread across 35 centers in the country, which provides good quality, high strength, high performance concrete as per the requirement of the customer at their sites and at their construction places. Apart from Ultratech RMC, we are into building product business, where various products which are value-added products like auto-aerated AEC block, like ready-made plaster, like waterproofing solutions, like products for tile fixing, like grouts material which are required for grouting under the business of Ultratech building products. We have nearly 3,000 plus stores which are under the brand of Ultratech Building Solution, wherein various construction related materials, right from steel to paint to pipe to syntax tanks to tiles to plywood. So whatever material which is required, almost all materials are available through these stores, and these stores are also spread across all the centers in the country. So the buyer, the user, the person who does the construction, he need not to go in around to in the search of the material. He can get all these materials at one place under the Ultratech Building Solution counter outlets. We also have white cement under Birla White. Along with white cement, we produce and supply putty. We produce and supply various decorative products through the white cement business, and that is also one of the key things which required for the aesthetical purpose or the show purpose in the construction. Next, please. Next slide. Yeah. So you all know cement. Now today you will be visiting virtually the cement plant. Cement, when water is added into cement, it hydrates and we get the cement paste, which gives us binding properties in the material. So from the process, it looks very simple, and it is really very simple for the consumer to use cement. As we all know, cement is being used by architects, by engineers, by contractors, by builders, and by mason also. So all these fraternities who are using cement, so cement has to be simple in use. But please mind my words, cement, though it is very simple to use, but it is a very complex material to produce. As you go along with the presentation and as you hear the words from the plant people, you will come to know that how complex cement is to produce in the cement plant, because a lot of materials are involved, a lot of processes are involved, huge raw machineries are involved, and that is why it becomes very complex material. So next slide, please. So cement, which is a complex material to produce, certain raw materials are required. Calcareous raw material from which gives us calcium carbonate, and the sources are limestone, chalk, marls, seashell. Argillaceous, which gives us alumina, silica, iron, and magnesia. So these are the two primary materials, raw materials, which are required for producing the cement. Secondary raw material is gypsum and coal, and the tertiary raw material is fly ash and slag. We'll see how these materials are used in the production process. Yeah, next slide. So from the calcareous raw material, we get lime, calcium oxide, and from the argillaceous raw material, we get silica, alumina, iron, and magnesium. Next. So from this various raw material, the oxides which are required for producing cement, they are calcium oxide, silicon oxide, aluminum oxide, ferric oxide, magnesium oxide, alkalis, and SO3. Now these oxides, when they are heated to a temperature of 1450 degrees centigrade, they get fused to each other. The reactions takes place, and we get 4 important compounds which are a core part of the cement. Next slide, please. And these compounds, they are also called as Box compound, and they are C3S, tricalcium silicate, C2S dicalcium silicate, C3A tricalcium aluminate, and C4AF tetracalcium aluminoferrite. Now, the entire chemistry of cement depends upon the percentage of this product. These products, particularly C3S and C2S, they are responsible for giving the strength into the cement. And all these products, they give strength, stability, and durability to the masses which are formed because of the hydration process between cement and water. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we've seen the four major phases: C3A, C2S, C3A, C4A, and the reaction when the water is added, the hydration reaction. And when the primary reaction takes place, primary hydraulic reaction takes place between the products with C3S and C2S, we get calcium silicate hydrate gel, which gives the binding properties in the cement and which gives a mass in the solid mass in the cement. Now, we all know that cement alone is not used. It is either mixed with sand or it is mixed with sand and aggregate. So the sand and aggregate, if we mix, we call it as concrete. So the strength to the concrete is basically driven by the amount of calcium silicate hydrate gel produced to the system. Next. We also use one product which is known as gypsum, and the use of gypsum, the role of gypsum is very particular. The addition of gypsum, and by virtue of it, calcium CaSO4H2O in the form of CH4H2O, which gives us the sufficient comfortable working time for the construction. Like had the gypsum will is not there in the cement, probably the water once added with the cement, it will get immediately set. So flash setting will happen and we will not be able to work with the cement and thereby with concrete and mortar. So gypsum gives us the comfortable working time to work with cement. Yeah, next. There are various types of cements which are produced by the industries, and even Ultratech, we are producing ordinary Portland cement, 33 grade, 43 grade, 53 grade. Now 33 grade is almost absolute. So 43 grade and 53 grade cement, ordinary Portland cement we are producing. We are producing hydrophobic cement, white cement, sulfate finishing cement, oil well cement. And we are also producing blended cement like Portland Podrona cement, Portland slag cement, and composite cement. Actually, this cement production is governed by Bureau of Indian Standards under various codes. There are 14 codes of different varieties. The guidelines are given by them, but mostly 6 to 7 varieties are in mass use, which is used in construction. Otherwise, other 6-7 varieties, people are not producing because very typical usage is there, and the usage is hardly there in India. Yeah. Next slide. So what cement quality, or how will call that the cement is of high quality? The cement which is having balanced physical and chemical properties, a cement which has high compressive strength, a cement which has consistency in all the properties in the cement, and the quality of cement that enhances the weight and hardened properties. If all these things are there in the cement, it is called as high quality cement. Next slide. So whenever the cement is produced and it is supplied to the customer, the test report under the guidance of BIS, it is produced. The cement is tested for various parameters in terms of chemical and physical, and the values are seen with respect to the requirement. And when this requirement they are passed by the values, the cement is good for using into the construction. Next. So there are various physical properties like fineness, like soundness, like magnesia and strength, which has got importance. It has got certain levels in the cement, and because of that levels, it gives the impact into the masses which are produced through cement. And ultimately, what we get is good strength in the concrete or mortar, and good durability in the structure which we produce through the cement. The next slide. So we talked about physical properties. Then there are chemical properties like lime saturation factor, magnesia, SO3, in IR insoluble residue, chloride percentage, and so on. So entire test report, if you see, all the properties are mentioned there as against the requirement of BIS, and wherever the minimum levels are shown, there should be a high level, and wherever the high levels are shown, there should be a minimum level. So all these things, if we form into the cement will be of good quality, and it can be used in the construction. You will be happy to know that major construction activities in India, or major iconic structures like Statue of Unity, like Sardar Sarovar Dam, like airport in Mumbai, like various metro rails, they are using Ultratech cement for their construction. Next. So with this, now I will hand over the floor to our GCW, Gujarat Cement Works team members, and they will take you through the plant process and various things from their presentation. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, good evening. From plant side, before going to the plant details, I would like to play one small, very short video.
This is our work. Spread its wings to discover limitless progressive ability in various sectors. Infrastructure is one of them. Lots of countries have put their colors to this global infrastructural development. One of the leading century units of Ultratech Limited, which runs in aims that combine district upgrade is proud to have best manpower. Every sector has a zest of enhancing values along the mission and vision of Gujarat Cement Works. Manufacturing capacity of 6.5 MTP cement with captive megawatts. This, one of the largest units in India, holds 45% of the total cement market share in the Gujarat region due to its rapid age, premium products, and services. In the year 1996 and Line 2 in the year 1997. The installed capacity of 6,500. Line 1 and 2 has achieved 3% enhancement with capacity of 8,000 TB. GCW has established 2 kilometers from the southern coastline of Gujarat. The unit is centralized on power and water and state-of-the-art facilities like captive power plant, jetty facility, desalination, and power plant. Since inception, the unit has maintained zero water discharge and zero water usage by utilizing seawater. The bulk terminal associated with the plant is Navi bulk terminal near G.
Mr. Nagesh, this video is not getting played, and we are not also able to hear.
Sorry?
60% conventional and
We are not able. This video is not getting played, and we are also not able to hear it properly.
Okay. Shall I
We'll have to-
skip the?
Yeah, we'll have to skip the video then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll start from this GCW plant. So before we go to the plant, I'll just brief about the overview where it is located. The location is Kovaya. It is Amreli district, Gujarat. In the Gujarat map, we can see here, this is the location. of GCW. And the distances from Ahmedabad is around 350 kilometers. Bhavnagar, it is 152 kilometers. From Surat, 560, and Rajkot, 210 kilometers. And the nearest airport is Diu. This is our vision and mission. So vision of Ultratech is to be the leader in building solutions. And GCW vision derived from the Ultratech vision is to be the leader in manufacturing and supply of cement to diversified customers in and around India. Our mission is to deliver the superior value to our stakeholders on the 4 pillars of sustainability, customer centricity, innovation, and team empowerment. Then these are some of the management systems which we have.
Nagesh sir, the slides are not moving.
Slides are not moving. Is it visible now? Management system slide?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So these are the different management system we have got at GCW. That is, those are related with the quality, environment, safety, and the excellence framework for Aditya Birla operational. Then IT related systems and social accountability, and of course the ship and port facility related systems are also we are having with us. Then this is the total land available with plant, colony, TPP, and mines and jetty. And total we have got a very good big township here that is having 604 quarters, family quarters. Families are residing in this colony, and population is around 2,500. Then these are the some of the equipments, major equipments we can say of the plant. The commissioning, the line 1 kiln, which was commissioned in 1996. The second line was commissioned in 1997. Then crusher 1 and 2, we have got the capacity of 900 TPH ton per hour, and the crusher 2 is 1400 tons per hour. Raw mill is 450, and later on it was upgraded to 500 TPH. Similar way, the coal mill 1 and 2, 70 was the TPH, but 35 we are getting on the in the case of petcoke. Cement mill 1, 2, 3, it is 230 upgraded TPH, and cement mill 3 is a smaller one, that is 175 TPH. This is our power plant details. We have to cater the requirement of power for this plant as well as our other grinding units, nearby grinding units. So we have got this plant, power plant is located at this location only. It is thermal based power plant, that is four units of 23 megawatt each. So 92 megawatt total. And we have got 2 DG sets for our emergency power requirement. And we also have, we have recently got commissioned the WHRS. That is nothing but a waste heat recovery system, which we are recovering from our kiln area. So that way we are generating 13 megawatt out of this waste heat recovery. Then this is the mines overview. The total area of the mines is 953 hectares, and lease period is up to 2046. And minerals are like limestone and marl, and the method of mining, conventional mining 40 to 50%, and non-conventional mining is again 50 to 55%. The village Kovaya, it is falling under the village Kovaya only, and these are the other villages. So my colleague from mines side, he is with me, Mr. Om Khelkar. He will let you know the how we select the location of the plant, or how we go for the mining selection. So he will just brief you about, and then we'll again come to the plant. Over to Mr. Om.
Good afternoon, everybody. As all of us know that mineral resources are very important and plays a vital role for development of socio-economical development of any country. As far as our India is concerned, we are the fast growing country and there is a huge demand of cement and steel for infrastructure development in the country. So there are some regulatory norms are there for granting the mining leases. So major two agencies are there who are regulating the mining operations. One is Indian Bureau of Mines, falls under Ministry of Mines, who grants the and facilitate the grant of mining leases. Then estimation of the resource and resources, systematic and scientific planning and execution of the mining leases and extraction of the minerals, and the progressive and the final closure of mines, etc. On the other hand, these mining operations are being controlled from the health, safety, hygiene of the employees, and the systematic operation of the mining equipments and the technologies are being driven by the Director General of Mine Safety under the Ministry of Labor and Employment. So basically, whenever we are going for the mining leases, as a preliminary phases, the resources are being established by the central government agencies like MECL, Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited, and the GIS, Geological Survey of India. Geological Survey of India does the recognition survey all over the India across the various states, and they are carry out the geological mapping based on the where the different kinds of minerals or resources are situated, located at the different places, areas of the states and across the India. And this Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited carried out the exploration to know the physical and chemical constituents of the various mineral deposits located at various parts of the country. But nowadays, this exploration are being outsourced after implementation of this new MMDR Act, Mineral Mines Mineral Development and Regulation Act 2015. So erstwhile the mining leases were granting the leases by applied the mining leases by the industries. Now it has been repealed by the recent amendment in the MMRD Act 2015. Now the mining leases are being granted by the auctioning processes. In this process, the state governments are carry out the exploration work at the different areas falls under their jurisdiction based on the geological survey and the geological mapping. After ascertaining the resources, this state government published the tenders for the auctioning of the mineral resources, and based on that the interested parties are bidding for the competitive prices. After pre-bid and post-bid, based on the mineral value of the sale value of the mineral, like cement industry is concerned, limestone is the major raw material resources. So whenever we are going for the granting of the mining leases for limestone, the base value comes around 450 rupees per ton. That is the base value. Based on the various industries are bidding on that. So who is paying the more amount, that leases has been granted to their concerned industries. And based on that, the state government has been issued the LOI to the concerned industry. After getting the LOI, the industry had to get the approval of mining plan, which is the base document to carry out the mining operation, in which we have to include all the aspects, the total the cadastral areas, the different kind of lands falls in the within the mining lease area, extent of the mineral resources, their quality, physical compositions, the type of mining activities we are being proposed in the mining plan, and parallelly we have to suggest the conceptual plan at the end of the life of mines, what we are going to do with the mining leases, whether we are going for the rehabilitation, creating water reservoirs, etc. Parallelly, we have to go for the purchase of the surface rights from the private landowners. If the land falls under the government, directly we are getting from the state governments. And then we have to apply for the environmental clearance through the TOR. Based on the fulfilling the requirements of the TOR, public hearing is there, and based on that we are getting the environmental clearance. After that, we have to go for the consent to establish and operate consent to establish and operate. After that, getting the various permissions from the Director General of Mine Safety for opening of mining operations, then we can start the mining operation. This is the brief about the mining operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Om Prakash. So with this, we can get the idea that how the mining we can start. So after getting the mining started, we can, I'll come to the mining, how the mining is done in the plant. Before that, I'll just brief you about that what are the other facilities at GCW are available. Like we have got a very unique feature at GCW, that is jetty. We can import the material, our raw material, and we can dispatch the cement through our jetty. We are dispatching to Sri Lanka and other nearby coastal area. These are the product range. We have got OPC 53 grade domestic, OPC 53 grade key customers. It is a special product. Then Portland Pozzolana cement and Ultratech Super. Then we have got two special grades for Sri Lankan market. That is Sri Lanka Standard Cement 107 and 1247. Then these are some of the key features of the GCW, especially that multiple mines block for ROM we are having at GCW. High consumer of AFR. We are the highest consumer of AFR in the region, and we have got exclusive lab for AFR. AFR is nothing but alternate fuel resource. We are using the alternate fuel to replace our coal and major main fuels. Then facilities for manufacturing export grade cement. That is what we discussed, that Sri Lankan 2 standards Sri Lankan cement we are dispatching. Then 4.5 kilometer belt conveyor we are having here for handling the clinker as well as cement for our jetty. Then we have got the largest sea route that we discussed, that okay, sea transportation we are doing. Then zero groundwater uses. That is also a unique feature for the GCW, and zero water discharge. And we have got the captive power plant, which is not only catering the requirement of GCW, it is catering the requirement of other nearby plants, group plants also. Then I'll brief you about the material flow, how the raw material from mines quarry to lorry, how it goes. So that I'll explain here in very brief. Then we'll go into the details. So here we can see that the mining from quarry, it is coming to the dumper, then crusher to the staker piles, staker pile to raw mill to silos, silo to preheater, preheater to kiln. Then in kiln, coal is also used as a fuel, and then clinker is formed. Before that, there is a clinker cooler, and then after cooling, it is stored in this clinker silos. From clinker silo, it goes to cement mill, ball mill. Then from cement ball mill, it is the final product is stored in these silos, from where it is packed and it is dispatched. Now, mines and crusher, that is what Mr. Om Prakash was discussing, that how we get the operation, how we get the approval for mines operation. After getting those approvals and lease, then we start our mining. So these are the different stages of mining, how we do it. So drilling, there are two parallel processes, as we discussed, that 50% we are using drilling, blasting, and other 50% we are using surface miner we are using, because here the material is such soft that we can use the surface miner. In all the mines it is not so, but here it is possible. So these are the two different parallel streams where we can get the material up to the crusher. Then at crusher, this is the mining area only. Surface miner you can see here. Surface miner is there, dumpers are there. Then it is this drilling and rock breaking going on. Then loading by excavators. This dumpers is transporting the material from quarry to crusher, where it is crushed to the 40 mm size, so that it can be fed to the plant. From here, after the crusher, it is going through these conveyors, around 4 kilometers long conveyors to the plant, because our crusher is located away from the plant. It is very close to the mining area. Then from here, it is going to this cross-country conveyor to the plant area. Plant in a staker, we are having the staker area. Staking material of this limestone is being staked. The purpose of staker is, one is that how we can get the homogeneous material. How we'll get the homogeneous, we will come to know later. So it is the staking is being done through mechanized system only. And it is different piles are being formed. Then after staking, this material is being reclaimed. While reclaiming, we are through cross-sectional area, we are cutting it so that we can get the homogeneous material, because in the mines we'll get the material in different composition, and those layers are here, it is being made homogeneous through this reclaimer. If you have any query, you can put it in the query box so that we can address it later on. Okay. So reclaimer, staking, and then reclaiming. Reclaiming, basically it is doing the homogeneous, it is collecting the material homogeneously for the next process. The next process is raw mill grinding. In raw mill grinding, this is the flow diagram we can see here. The material which is coming from our reclaimer, it is fed into these hoppers. You can see the top, these 4 hoppers are there, where other additives are also added, like alumina and iron, and this limestone coming from the mines is being added in this, and in the control way, it is fed to our raw mill, VRM. It is a vertical raw mill. So in the vertical raw mill, we are grinding this material, and it is ground up to 212 micron size. Then it is collected and it is stored in the silos. This is the actual picture of our VRM, vertical raw mill. Then these are the different components of our VRM, vertical raw mill, where this limestone and other additives are being ground. So classifier is there, roller, gearbox, main motor, then nozzle ring, grinding table, rocker arm, grid zone, grid cone, and gravel grate. Here we can see that how the fine material is getting separated inside the mill after grinding on the table. So this is separator is separating the fines with the coarse. Then after this raw mill, the material is stored in the silos, fine material. That fine material in controlled way, it is fed to the pyro section by getting the preheated. So this preheater, 6-stage preheater we have got here, and the material is fed through the top of the preheater, and hot air are going from bottom of the cyclone. So that way there is this material, by the time it reaches up to the bottom, it gets heated up to 900 or 1000 degree, and then it enters into the kiln. So inside the kiln, the details of the processes will be discussed later on, that what are the different stages, how the material is getting converted into the clinker. That we'll discuss in the subsequent slides. So here, after formation of the clinker, it is cooled down, then it is collected to it is sent to the this is the preheater, this is the kiln. You can say actual pictures of the kiln and the preheater. Then this is the burner which I was discussing. The coal is fed is used as a fuel in the kiln. This is the cooler where the clinker is getting formed. It is air cooled only. Then clinker, after getting the clinker out of this cooler, it is being transported to the storage area. This is the clinker. It is transported and it is stored in these silos. Clinker stockpile and Peter silo and concrete silos are there, where this clinker is stored. Then from here, the cement mill area starts, where this clinker is ground after adding the gypsum and other additives and finally the product, the cement is produced. So we have got total 4 cement mill, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the clinker which is stored in the silo, it is being transported through these conveyors to the different individual hoppers in the mills, from where the other additives are also being added and it is fed to the cement mill. So we can see the flow diagram of cement mill area. These are the different hoppers as I was discussing. Limestone is one of them, gypsum is there, then clinker. So this is added to the, this is fed to the roller press. From roller press, it is going to the, whatever the fine is there, it is going to the mill. Another coarser material is again getting circulated. And finally, out of mill, we are getting the final product which is being stored to the silo. This is the actual picture of our roller press and cement mill. It is a ball mill. This is the inside picture of our ball mill. Then finally the cement from silos, it is dispatched through packers in the bags form, and in bulk form also we are dispatching. These are the bulkers. Then it is also being dispatched, as I discussed, through sea route, through our jetty. Ship loader is there. So with this is the brief about the plant. Now I'll hand over to Mr. Anurag, who will discuss about the quality parameters and the stages of the cement production. We can discuss.
Yeah, thank you, Nageshji. Once again, a very good afternoon to all of you. Yes, the entire process is monitored at every stage by a quality control team of plant, right from drill hole, what we have seen in the first phase, up to dispatch. So if you see the entire plant, almost at 11 stages, we collect the samples and test it. At certain stages, we control it, and at certain stage, we monitor it. Like number 1, that is quarry drill hole sample. These samples are collected at mines and brought to laboratory for its testing. On the basis of quality check at drill hole, mines team blasts the material and send it to the plant through crusher to stacker reclaimer. As mentioned earlier in the stacker reclaimer, point number 2, the material is stacked in layers and reclaimed in cross-sectional area. So before stacking, either samples are collected or it is tested through cross belt analyzer. It is a very sophisticated machine which continuously monitor the quality of incoming limestone. So the pile quality we get at the end of completion of pile, and which is required for desired quality of clinker. So after stacking of material, the material is reclaimed. During reclamation, sometimes we check the size of material to see whether the crusher is performing well or not. If the sizes are big, then the crusher team, they do the maintenance of crusher and provide the right size of limestone. These material, that is limestone, and the corrective material like bauxite, iron ore, these are taken to the hoppers of raw mill,
and a judicious mix of these material is fed to the mill where it is ground, and around 13 to 15% on 90 micron and around 1 to 1.5% on 212 micron sizes maintained. This is continuously monitored, and accordingly the process team takes action to control the process. Parallelly, we test the material in XRF, again a very sophisticated machine which analyzes the material within a minute and tells us what is the percentage of different components components is there in the mix, so that desired quality raw mix is prepared and stored in raw meal silo. So third is if you see point number 4, raw meal, here we are continuously monitoring and testing the samples and controlling the quality of raw meal. Other than this, the material which we receive, other than limestone, that is bauxite, iron, these all are also purchased material. So these material are sampled and tested before feeding into the system. The raw material, the raw meal which is ground and stored in raw meal silo is extracted and fed into the preheating system, from where it goes to kiln and clinker is formed. So from one end, the raw meal is entered into the preheater system, and from the other end, coal is fired. These two material are again sampled and tested for their respective qualities. The material which is sent to the preheater get calcined almost 95%. So this calcined material, which we call hot meal, point number 6, this is also collected and tested to see the quality of hot meal, which is also very important for the smooth operation and process. The clinker which is formed is again tested for its quality. The clinker is stored in silos. This clinker, along with gypsum and fly ash, is again ground in cement mill. Here also we do a quality check for cement, and then finally during dispatch stage we monitor the quality of cement. Now at all these stages we round the clock monitor quality, because it is a process, so we cannot depend on single sample, but have to check quality around the clock. And sampling is a very important process. This sampling process comprises of collection of sample and then sample transport, sample preparation, sample analysis. The results are then interpreted, decisions are made, and accordingly actions are taken. Whatever effect is there, again sample. So this is again you can call a PDCA cycle, where we collect the sample, check it, and accordingly actions take. Now, why I am saying sampling is a very important, sampling and sample preparation, all these are very important, because if you make error at one stage, you cannot rectify at other stage, because error made at one stage and correction made cannot be made at second stage. This will going to multiply. That is why sampling is very important. This is okay. Okay, then the most important part of cement plant is clinker manufacturing, because if you see the entire process, 70% part of our integrated plant is clinker manufacturing, and then 30% part is cement manufacturing. So I think different point of time we have covered clinker, and we are very, Mr. Arvind Mahajan have very well explained what is clinker and how the quality is determined in clinker and cement. Again, if you see this clinker manufacturing process, this is just like a kitchen where raw materials are cooked and this clinker and cement is made. Natural minerals at higher temperature and pressure is transformed into synthetic hydraulic mineral. Synthetic hydraulic mineral means it is manufactured, and hydraulic means it has hydraulic properties. So it reacts with water at when fine ground with gypsum and gives strength. Yes, this is one very important clinker formation at various temperature slide. I would say, like initially at around 600 to 800 degrees Celsius, this calcium carbonate, from calcium carbonate, carbon dioxide escapes out. Process is called calcination, and the lime available is called free lime. During this period, there are many other processes also takes part, like formation of calcium, different this ferrites and aluminoferrites. This free lime reacts with silica and form. Okay, this I will explain slide by slide because this is a bit complicated slide. Before that, before explaining that slide, we'll see the process of formation of clinker at different stages. So initially, the raw mix is at 50-55 degrees Celsius temperature, which on heating, the available moisture gets evaporated. Then at around 100 to 300 degrees Celsius, physically adsorbed water escapes out, and as seen in the slide, 400 to 900 degrees Celsius, the structural molecule is from clay as well as other argillaceous material gets out of the system. Then at around or more than 500 degrees centigrade, these structural changes in silicate minerals is observed. From 600 to 900 degrees Celsius, dissociation of carbonates, that is the calcium carbonate, limestone get calcined and CO2 gas get escape out of it. During this period, formation of belite also started taking place, that is C2S. In the first slide during presentation of Mr. Mahajan, we have seen C2S means dicalcium silicate, and other intermediate products like aluminoferrites, aluminates, calcium aluminates, tetracalcium aluminoferrites. So formation of liquid phase started after 1250 degrees Celsius. These aluminate and ferrite melts, and actually in this molten mix, the C2S combines with available free lime to form C3S. And at around 1450 degrees Celsius, this process completes, and alite, that is C3S, tricalcium silicate, is formed, which is mainly responsible for initial strength. Then cooling starts at cooling zone and then in cooler. Then again, simplified form for explaining this calcium carbonate when heated. If you see these circles or different colored circles, blue is calcium lime, green is silica, red is alumina, black is iron, and yellow is CO2. As seen in the at different temperature, initially this carbon dioxide escapes out, and the main oxides left in the system are lime, silica, alumina, and iron. They participate in reaction to form C2S, C3A, C4AF, and then finally C3S. These are the major four phases: tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate, and tetracalcium aluminoferrite. If any question is there, you can write it in the chat box so that we can answer it after this session. I think this we have explained. Thank you, one and all. I'll request Mr. Nagesh to come over.
Okay, so apart from this, our process and quality parameters and those things, we have listed down some of the challenges of GCW. These are some of the challenges we are having here at this location. That is limestone availability and its quality. Because LSF we are getting less than 75. We should have more than 100 or so, 100 plus. So that is one of the challenges. Then high corrosion rate because of coastal location. So our structure is getting corroded, and very frequently we have to take care of that. Then high rainfall is also one of the challenges here we face during manufacturing here. Okay. Then I'll hand over to for Mr. Vinod for CSR coverage, please. Over to Mr. Vinod.
सभी को नमस्कार। मैं यहाँ कारपोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के बारे में अपनी यूनिट का एक्टिविटीज को बताना चाहता हूँ। इसके पहले मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि आदित्य बिरला ग्रुप के डीएनए में ही कारपोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट है। जिस एरिया में हमें काम करना है उसके सराउंडिंग डेवलपमेंट की हम बात करते हैं। और अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट के साथ में भी 23 लोकेशन पर जहाँ जहाँ हमारी एक्टिविटी चल रही है उसके सराउंडिंग विलेजेस में हम लोग कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट की एक्टिविटीज जो करते हैं। हम जो कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट की एक्टिविटीज करते हैं हर लोकेशन पर लगभग 20 गांव के साथ हम कवर कर रहे हैं और 5 थीमेटिक एरिया पर हम लोग काम करते हैं। ये 5 थीमेटिक एरिया जो मेन है वो एजुकेशन, हेल्थ, सस्टेनेबल लाइवलीहुड, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और सोशल इशूज। इन 5 थीमेटिक एरियाज के साथ कम्युनिटी को हम लोग पार्टनर बनाकर डेवलपमेंटल इनिशिएटिव को आगे बढ़ाते हैं जिससे कि उस एरिया का इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट हो सके और सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की ओर कम्युनिटी आगे बढ़ सके। जैसा कि मैंने पिछले स्लाइड में बताया आपको कि एजुकेशन सेक्टर में गुजरात सीमेंट वर्क्स में जो हमारी इनिशिएटिव्स हैं उसमें हम लोग जो सराउंडिंग विलेजेज हैं थोड़ा रिमोट में है तो उनके स्कूल के बच्चों के लिए स्कूल ट्रांसपोर्टेशन फैसिलिटीज, जिन स्कूलों में टीचर की व्यवस्था पूरी नहीं है वहाँ एडिशनल टीचर प्रोवाइड करना, उनको कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज के लिए, स्पोर्ट्स के लिए उनको सपोर्ट करना। और जो डेवलपमेंट इनिशिएटिव हम लोगों ने लिया है उससे 3 डिजिटल स्कूल डेवलप्ड हुए हैं, 100% एनरोलमेंट हुआ है, 2 मॉडल विलेज डिक्लेयर्ड हुए हैं। इस तरीके की इनिशिएटिव हम लोग शुरू किए हैं और साथ ही साथ ग्रीन स्कूल कॉन्सेप्ट को भी हम लोगों ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है कि हर स्कूलों में बच्चे ग्रीनरी के साथ जुड़ सकें, इकोलॉजिकल बैलेंस को समझ सकें। साथ ही साथ जो हेल्थ इनिशिएटिव है, हेल्थ इनिशिएटिव में हमारी मोबाइल मेडिकल वैन सभी गाँव में जाती है। प्रिवेंटिव और क्यूरेटिव हेल्थ दोनों में काम करते हैं हम लोग। साथ ही साथ आई कैंप्स आयुर्वेदिक कैंप, एडोलेसेंट हेल्थ के ऊपर अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम्स, स्कूल हेल्थ प्रोजेक्ट और ODF विलेजेस के लिए इनिशिएटिव हम लोग लेते हैं। साथ ही साथ जीरो प्लास्टिक, जो कि एक बड़ा मूवमेंट है, इस एरिया में जो भी अपने गांव को जीरो प्लास्टिक कैसे कर सकें, इसके लिए उनको अवेयर कर सकते हैं। और इस एरिया का IMR और MMR स्टेट लेवल से नीचे है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इनिशिएटिव में जो कम्युनिटी के लिए जो बेसिक एमिनिटीज होती है, गवर्नमेंट भी काम करती है, इसके साथ साथ हम लोग भी काम करते हैं। लेकिन जहां पर रोड की कमी है, जैसे RCC रोड बनाना, ब्लैक टॉपिंग रोड बनाना, कम्युनिटी हॉल्स बनाने, स्कूल बिल्डिंग्स बनाने, इसके अलावा कम्युनिटी को इस तरीके से सेंसिटाइज करते हैं कि जिससे वो अधिक से अधिक गवर्नमेंट को फंड को भी मोबिलाइज करके अपने गांव में काम करा सके। सस्टेनेबल लाइवलीहुड, जो कि एक कोर हमारा सेक्टर है, जिस भी हम गांव में काम करते हैं उनके सस्टेनेबल लाइवलीहुड के लिए डिफरेंट इनिशिएटिव लेते हैं। सबसे बड़ा इनिशिएटिव हमारे इस यूनिट ने वाटर के ऊपर लिया है और 2.5 टाइम वाटर पॉजिटिव इन गांवों को बनाया गया है। इस 2.5 वाटर पॉजिटिव बनाने के लिए हम लोगों ने पाउंड डीपनिंग, स्टाफ डैम, चेक डैम, रिवर बेसिन डिसिल्टिंग, ये सब इनिशिएटिव हम लोगों ने लिया है। क्योंकि इस एरिया में कैटल पॉपुलेशन बहुत ही अधिक है, तो कैटल ब्रीड इम्प्रूवमेंट करने के लिए डिफरेंट पार्टनर के साथ मिलकर हम लोग कैटल ब्रीड इम्प्रूवमेंट पर प्रोजेक्ट चला रहे हैं, जिसमें 3000 से ऊपर हाइब्रिड कैटल, गाय और भैंस के अच्छे नस्ल के बच्चे आए हैं, जिससे कि उनकी दूध अधिक क्षमता में मिल रही है। सोशल डेवलपमेंट में जो इनिशिएटिव हमारी ये रही है कि इन गांवों में जो मास मैरिज के इवेंट्स होते हैं उनमें हम लोग सपोर्ट करते हैं। बच्चों को वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग में भी सपोर्ट करके लगभग 1800 बच्चों को हम लोगों ने ट्रेंड किया है, जो कि लाइफ एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी के योग्य हैं और सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट और अपने अदर इनिशिएटिव में वो आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। ये इनिशिएटिव्स मैंने बहुत ही ब्रीफ में आपको बताया। इस इनिशिएटिव को डिफरेंट एजेंसीज ने रिकॉग्नाइज किया है, जैसे गुजरात CSR अथॉरिटी, गवर्नमेंट ने, डिफरेंट नेशनल लेवल की एजेंसी ने CSR के इनिशिएटिव को रिकॉग्नाइज किया है। साथ ही साथ हमारे कल्चर में जो सेफ्टी के कल्चर रहे हैं, सेफ्टी के अवार्ड मिले हैं, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल के अवार्ड्स मिले हैं, इनके बारे में डिटेल में नागेश जी आपको बताएंगे।
Okay, thank you. So I think with this we have come to the end of our presentation. Mr. Arvind. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nagesh, Anurag, and Mr. Vinod for giving the glimpses of Gujarat Cement Works and taken us through the process of manufacturing of cement, the quality control at wherever, at many places, then the equipment, plants and machineries, and the challenges which we face during the production. So with this, I think the presentation part is over. Now the forum is open for questions. So I request the organizers to pose the questions to the speakers, and the question, according to the question, will try to answer it to convince the one who poses the question. Yeah, Meera, Rohit, and Anand, you can call for the questions.
So one of the most popular questions that we're having is, so some students are asking about the involvement of various departments like chemical, civil, mechanical in the cement industry. So if you could tell us, department-wise, what their work would be, what.
Okay, to start with, I will talk about civil department, and then later on it can be taken over by the plant people. See, there are two places where we require the civil engineers, and one is the construction and maintenance in the plant. So now almost all plants are already constructed. Only new projects which are coming up in certain areas, there we require civil engineers, but that too in very small quantity. But in major way, we require civil engineers in the cement marketing. Like cement marketing, we have one department, technical services. Dr. Ramchandra, who addressed this program in the first phase, he is the head of technical services for UltraTech Cement. And we have around 600 people of civil engineers, they are working for us in different capacity. So we have these civil engineers who work for UltraTech Cement, who organizes meet, who are really a brand ambassador for this UltraTech Cement, who goes to this site, discuss with the people who uses cement. Then there are various difficulties in case of construction, which the construction factory people they feel they want to ask, and these people they come to us, and then we resolve those difficulties, we resolve those queries in the construction process. So yes, civil engineer role is important. As it is important in Kassan, it is also important in the UltraTech Cement, as we give a lot of services to the customers, to the IHBs, to the contractors, and to the various people who uses cement. So I hope for civil, I think I have cleared. From the plant, Mr. Nagesh, you can talk about electrical, mechanical, and chemical positions.
Okay. So if we talk about the chemical engineers, then our process department, they need the chemical engineers, where all chemical engineers are working in that area, and some special teams, technical services at the corporate level. They also need some chemical engineers for special studies and special analysis on the process. So this is the chemical engineer. This is about chemical engineer. Then about mechanical, electrical, and instrumentation. These are the engineers where we require in the project stage, erection, commissioning, as well as in maintenance. In running plant also, in the maintenance department, we need mechanical, electrical, as well as instrumentation engineers. So these are the different requirements in the plant of different branches from the engineering side. I think I answered the question.
Yeah. The next question, please.
Yes, moving on to the next question. Could you explain a bit about waste heat recovery system, WHRS?
Nagesh, you can explain.
Yeah. Basically, whatever the heat we are giving it to the kiln for our clinkerization, for producing the clinker, even at the pre-calcination. So those heat is being recovered, and we are getting the heat recovered through preheater. But still there are quantum of heat which is wasted through our cooler, because in cooler, as I explained during the manufacturing, that how the cooler is doing. Cooler is nothing but a atmospheric air we are putting into the cooler, and our clinker is getting cooled from 1200 to 150 degrees centigrade. So that much quantum is available in the cooler, that much quantum of heat is available, and part of that heat is being fed back through the to the preheater. But still there is a heat available in the air which is sent to the atmosphere. So we are recovering the heat from that air, which is hot air, which is being sent to the atmosphere. So that way we are reducing the atmosphere air temperature, as well as we are recovering the heat, and we are producing the power out of it. We are producing the steam, and then we are generating the power through steam turbines. That is what the waste heat recovery system is. So at GCW, we have got the potential is around 13 megawatt. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That answers the question. The next question, what can be the alternative to coal for energy generation? And what can we do to minimize environmental pollution in cement industries?
Yeah. Mr. Anurag will answer that question. Yeah.
there are many material available in the system which are waste of other processes and having certain calorific value. This is utilized as alternative fuel in the cement industry, and by using this, we reduce the consumption of fossil fuel like coal. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. The next question, how is zero water discharge obtained in the plant? Zero water discharge.
We are using seawater. Actually, here we are on the coastal side, so we, as per norms, CPCB norms, government norms also, we cannot use any groundwater. And groundwater quality is also same as our seawater. So what we are doing is we are producing our potable water out of the seawater by using the RO only. So that way we are using zero groundwater. Sorry, zero, and at the same time, okay, my colleague, Mr. Colleague will add to that. Mr. Vaibhav Parma, yeah, please.
So whatever amount of water required, we are taking from these RO and giving to the all process such as clinker cooling. Second is in VRMs, third in cement cooling. So we are not wasting any drop of water to our environment. So in this manner, we are zero discharge.
So whatever we are producing, we are basically we are utilizing it, even our STP water, whatever the sewage treatment, we have got very good sewage treatment plant. So whatever the water is going in the sewage, that is also being recovered and it is being used in the our horticulture and water spray on the roads and other processes also. So that way we can say that discharge is zero.
Thank you, sir. That gives the answer. The next question, can AI be used to improve the outcomes in the plant? Artificial intelligence use.
Definitely. Actually, we are in the process of adopting it, and many of the plants, our Kotputli plant, it is in very advanced stage, and in some of the way we are using AI in our processes. We have got the centralized control process system, where our DCS, our centralized PLC control system is there, where we are having the expert optimizer. This expert optimizer is nothing but it is capturing the data. It is suggesting some data based on the analysis, based on the capturing of the data of process parameters. So that way we are using, partly we are using, not 100% we can say that we are using the AI and we are getting benefit out of it. But definitely we are in the process to further utilizing it, and definitely it is going to help us a lot in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question, how is the quality of cement determined? What kind of tests are used for it? Quality of cement.
Yeah, I will answer this question. Like while taking through my slides, I've shown you the test certificate. Now this test certificate is governed by, the guidelines are given by Bureau of Indian Standards, and under the guidance of Bureau of Indian Standards, the cements are produced. Now cement has to qualify all the parameters mentioned in the test certificate. Now there are certain physical parameters, there are certain chemical parameters. So whatever conditions are prevailed for the chemical parameter, that needs to be followed up. So this way the quality of cement is judged at site whenever an engineer or an architect or any contractor or builder, he look for the cement quality. So he compares the cement quality against the BIS standard, and then he rate it whether it is A quality, B quality or C quality. Now this test certificates are made for each and every lot. So day in, day out, the cement is getting dispatched and the average sample for a day is collected, and the sample is tested for the various qualities, various parameters, and then that is refreshed into the system, and then we produce the test certificate. So this way the quality can be judged against the BIS. Now there are various cement available in the market. So the quality of cement perceived by the customer depend upon what results he get into the construction. So cement is not directly used, it is used with sand, and it is used with sand and aggregate. So people, they test the cement with concrete, in terms of concrete or in terms of mortar, then they gauge it with the other competitors, and then they see what quality of cement it is. I hope this clarifies the question.
Yes, sir, that clarifies it. The next question, is there any difference in the cement that is used in the domestic market and the cement that is sent for export?
Partly I will answer this question, and partly I will ask Mr. Nagesh to answer it. See, domestic and international, basically the cement is produced as per the requirement or as per the guidelines of the country's cement standards. Now for India, we have Bureau of Indian Standards. Like for America, it is CSTM. Like for Britain, it is BS standards. Or for Sri Lanka, it is Sri Lankan standards. So the cements are produced as per the norms of the particular country where the cements are produced. So cement can be same or can be little bit different, but it should qualify the norms of that particular country. Mr. Nagesh, would you like to add in this?
Yeah, whatever you have explained, it is correct. Cement is same, but it is following the norms of different countries.
Yes, Meera.
Thank you, sir. That answers the question. The next question, how much time is taken for production of cement from raw material to dispatch?
I will explain.
Nagesh, yes.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will explain.
Yeah.
Actually, there is different process as we had discussed in the last couple of time. So when we have started from mines to cement dispatch packing plant. So starting of the mines, it will take around half an hour from mines to crusher, and crusher to our stockpile. And after that stockpile, it is reclaimed and it is come to the raw mill hopper. It will take another 20 minutes. And after that, it will grind in the mill, and it is stored in the silo. It will take another 10 minutes. And after the silo, it will come in the preheater. It is hardly 2 to 3 minutes. And preheater to kiln, it will come around 2 minutes, hardly 2 minutes. And in the kiln, it depends on the kiln RPM. If it is our RPM is maximum like that 4.5 or 5 RPM, it will take inside the kiln 20 minutes. So or other, if the RPM is less than 2 RPM, so it will take around half an hour or 40 minutes. And the old kiln, it will around I think is 12 to 14 hours also in very, very old kilns, which way we can say the wet process. But modern kiln, it is take hardly 20 to half an hour. And after that, it will come in the cooler. So another, it will take half an hour, 30 minutes. And after that, it will go to the silo, and silo around 5 minutes. And collecting the silo, and silo to cement mill, another transport conveyor system in between. That will take 10 minutes. And 10 minutes. And after that, grinding and packing to silo, another, it will take around 12 to 15 minutes. So overall, this is the time taken in from crusher to packing plant.
So thank you, Sanjay ji. You have explained it very nicely. So actually, this question is not that relevant, because cement manufacturing plants are the continuous process plants that never stops. Like you start from this location and you stop it and then again start and again stop it. It's a continuous plant. The plant capacity of our kiln, one single kiln in Gujarat Cement Works, is around 8,000 tons per day. So if you see 8,000 per day means if per hour, if you calculate, it comes to 330 tons per hour. And if you see for 1 minute, it is around 5.5 to 6 metric ton per minute. So the process is online. So one cannot say how much time from quarrying to packing it takes place, because there are various stages, and we have at various stages we have the stockpiles also and storage capacities also. So a little bit irrelevant question, but then yes, the Mr. Dhanayak has presented it very nicely. I hope it clarifies the question.
Yes, sir. So the next question: what kind of cooling system are used in the plant? Cooling system used in the plant.
Cooling system related to clinker or something others?
Yeah, I think cooler we can talk about.
Yeah, it is in the cooler. Hardly take just I told it in half an hour. Cooling system is just like some different type of cooler fans, and that giving the atmospheric air, which is ambient temperature is around 30 to 35 degrees centigrade. That air they are taking from the atmosphere and giving to the inside the cooler. So when clinker is coming from kiln, that is around 1200 degrees centigrade, and by pumping this atmospheric temperature air on the clinker by cooler grates, the grates is giving two types of work. One is cooling the clinker, and other is transport to the one end to and the other end. So by this process, the clinker is cooled, and it will come down around 100 to 150 degrees centigrade. This is the cooling process of clinker.
Yeah. Actually, Sanjay has nicely explained. Actually, there are two ways of cooling. One is water cooling and other is air cooling. The water cooling is required for the equipments, because during the process, the equipments get heated and we need to cool down the equipment. So their water is required. And in the process, when we require to cool the raw material or the material which is coming out of the kiln, that is clinker, their air is used. So air and water, these two things are used for the cooling purpose in the plant.
Thank you, sir. So the next question: how are argillaceous materials stored? Argillaceous materials stored in the plant.
Yeah, argillaceous and calcareous, these two are two type of materials, raw materials they are used. And these materials are, since it is coming from the mines, there is no requirement of storing it in proper fashion there. Like it can be stored in the open piles, open stockpiles, and it can be taken up for the further processing in the plant. So it is coming directly from the mines, so need not to be stored. Though for continuous running of plant, we are storing it in a stockpile and we are consuming it in the process.
Okay, sir. So that brings us to the end of Q&A session. We don't have any more questions here.
Okay, thank you. Aparna, I will request you to give vote of thanks for the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Meera. That was an absorbing 2-hour session we had. Before 3 p.m., many of them were in the waiting room, actually. So, good evening, everyone. This is Aparna here. It's a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special event. It's been a pleasure to host you all the participants. First and foremost, I thank our talented students for making today's mega event a resounding success. They were very enthusiastic. You can judge that on the type of questions they were posted in. And I'm sure they must have benefited by attending this virtual plant visit. Many thanks to TechFest team of IIT Mumbai, Anandji and Meera, for taking the initiative in organizing the biggest science and technical event of the year. I thank our country head technical services, Dr. Ramchandra sir, for gracing the event with his presence and inspiring us. On behalf of Ultratech Cement, I express my sincere thanks to our regional technical head Arvind Mahajan sir and our Gujarat plant team headed by Anurag ji, Nagesh ji, Om Prakash ji, Sanjay ji, Vinod ji and Anil ji for extending their valuable contribution and support and enlightening the budding engineers with their commendable talk on the subject. Please excuse me if I missed out on any of the names. So more than 800, I think around 1,000 participants from various engineering colleges, they participated overwhelmingly. And this itself is a huge success. So precisely in another 55 hours from now, we shall be bidding goodbye to this challenging year 2020. And we shall connect with you in 2021. We are desperately looking forward to rejuvenating ourselves with the vaccination, hopefully in the first half of the new year. So with this positive note, we at Ultratech Cement wishes you a very healthy, happy and a prosperous new year 2021. Stay blessed and stay safe and have a good day. We sign off from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aparna. Thank you, Anurag ji, Nagesh ji, Vinod ji, Sanjay ji, Anil ji for supporting this event.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ji.
Thanks,
I'd
Meera.
like to thank everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks to the entire Ultratech team. It was a very knowledgeable session. We got to know a lot of things. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.